That's right, family. Black Power. Y'all know what time it is. We live on Patreon. We got a fire presentation for today. J. Edgar Hoover, Freemasonry and Assault on Black Power Organizations. Yeah, I haven't been on my Black Illuminati in a while, so I got to get my playlist up. Yeah, I got to get my playlist up and drop this information is most necessary that we are well aware of all institutions that operate within our community. A lot of them subversive. Yeah, they trying to undermine, and we're gonna show you that J. Edgar Hoover, who was the first, I believe he wasn't the president, but of the FBI, but I believe director. He's the director of the FBI, notorious, had more power than even the president. He had them Kennedys and shit in a headlock. All of them, fell under his, because he throw a communism charge on your ass quick. You see what I'm saying? And that was his main thing. You feel me? Your ass is down with the communists, and so he terrorized the generation. You see, but he's most definitely known for being, down through the years from Marcus Garvey, shit, W.E.B. Du Bois, that he was in charge of the FBI during that time. Yeah, and when they put them charges on both Marcus Garvey and goddamn W.E.B. Du Bois, that was J. Edgar Hoover. Yeah, and the Panthers, J. Edgar Hoover. Malcolm X, J. Edgar Hoover. Martin Luther King, J. Edgar Hoover. You see? And so this was the notorious henchman who was what's the word? Devout Freemason. Devout. Now you got Freemasons that, but you have to, he was devout, meaning he wore his uniform. You see, he was out in the open about his Freemasonry. He so he wrote books for Freemasonry, even while he was the director of the FBI. And so he operated the FBI in military and police is structured on the Freemasonry structure. Okay? Make that clear. When you go in there and take your oath, you go to court, you take your oath, it is no different than when they go in the lodge and take their oath. So when you go in there, that's Freemasonry structure. When you go in the courtroom, where the judge sit is the same place in the lodge where the worshipful master sit of the lodge. The judge got a gavel. The worshipful master has a gavel. You got the bailiff, and they got the same thing in the lodge. The bailiff is in charge of security in there, and they got it's the same structure. There's no different. Okay, when you see military salute, that's a Freemasonry hand sign. They do the same in the lodge. So I just want to be clear that when you dealing with the police, you got the fraternal order of police. You see, they operate now. They operate like Freemasonry, even though a lot of them are Freemasons. I don't believe just because you're in the fraternal order of police that you're free, you're a Freemason. You have to join the lodge of Freemasonry to be a Mason. So it's just the fact that the police structured the fraternal order of police like Freemasonry, even calling where they meet a lodge. You see? even calling where they meet a lie. So what we have to understand is, just like you got many presidents who were Freemasons that owned slaves. Okay. George Washington was a Freemason. Thomas Jefferson was a Freemason and owned slaves. So that show you right there, Freemasonry had its hand in the slave trade. You see what I'm saying? So, you know, that's their fraternal brotherhood, white brotherhood. Okay. That's why they didn't never want to let no niggas in. And I don't even know why niggas petitioned to be in the shit. You understand? But they was unaware of their own history. You see? And so now that you know your own history, that you started Masonry and the philosophical and the operative part of Masonry. You see? You don't have to come through the back door and plagiarized, you see, information that you started in the first place. And that's where niggas still, even when learning the truth, they still love the white man lodge. Even after finding out the truth. Yeah, you know, they'll find all kind of reasons to stay in. Okay, and it's on you, nigga. When a truth spitter get in your face and chop you down, you know, and you was asking for it. That's the way I look at it. Now let's deal with this now. Now when we talk, and you see right here, you see right there, he got his I believe that's a Shriner. He got his Shriner hat on. So he went all the way to the top. He was a 33rd degree, and he became a Shriner. You see, so that show you how much, you know, J. Edgar Hoover. And you see his book, The Faith of Free Men. Remarks of J. Edgar Hoover, Director, Federal Bureau of Investigation, before the Supreme Council, 33rd degree of the ancient and accepted Scottish Rite of Freemasonry, Southern Jurisdiction, USA, Washington, D.C., October 19th, 1965. Now, what's very critical is that he was before the Supreme Council of the ancient and accepted Scottish Rite. Now, that was the branch that was run by Albert Pike, who was also, not only was he the head of the Scottish Rite, Southern Jurisdiction, he was also high ranking in the Ku Klux Klan. And so that's why Ku Klux Klan is secret, is operated in secrecy, because that's, you know, they was instituted under Albert Pike, who was also a Freemason. So they was another one of them offshoots, even though the KKK wasn't Freemason, an established part of Freemasonry. The fact was, so many Freemasons were in the Ku Klux Klan that they structured it based on a lot of tenets of Freemasonry. Okay, so it's not that the Ku Klux Klan is a branch of Freemasonry. It is just the fact that so many Freemasons are a part of the Ku Klux Klan. It looked like a branch of the goddamn. And I mean, shit, if it might as well be. You see? And so that just show you right there that J. Edgar Hoover was really plugged in with Albert Pike. And Albert Pike, Albert Pike say he is not obligated to call no nigga brother. So he did not want any type of integration with the lodge. He say the day that he have to call a nigga his brother is the day that he'll leave Freemasonry. That's what he said. So that just show you how they felt about niggas. Okay, and so you see here J. Edgar Hoover. Now, when I say J. Edgar Hoover, You got to understand that this is the first director of the FBI and remains so for damn near. I mean, J. Edgar Hoover was the director of the FBI probably over 50 years. He was damn near the director. He was damn at least 40. You see, I'll get down to the bottom of it. Raised in Federal Lodge, #1, Washington, D.C. That's where he was raised. Charter member, Justice Lodge, #46, Washington, D.C. Exalted in Lafayette, chapter #5, Royal Arch Masons, Washington, D.C. Knighted in Washington, Commandery #1, Knights Templar, Washington, D.C. Scottish Rite, 33rd degree. Yep. See? Grand Cross Orient of D.C., Valley of Washington. Noble of Almas Shrine, Washington. So he was everything. This motherfucker was super Mason. You see? So that just show you right there. And so again, right there, you see the FBI and Freemasonry is established. We that right there speak for itself. We went down this man's resume and he then went to the highest level. And like I say, as you can see right there, he wore it on his sleeve, wore his hats out in the open. He don't care, and so it show you right here, J. Edgar Hoover, who was born January 1st, 1895, died May 2nd, 1972, was the first director of the Federal Bureau of Investigation, the very first of the United States. J. Edgar Hoover was also a Muslim Shriner Mason. Damn. Now they said that they wrapped it up. They say Muslim Shriner Mason. Yeah. And so it says here, this is in one of the books right here. Matter of fact, the foreword, The Faith of Free Men, it says the Supreme Council, 33rd degree, Southern Jurisdiction, USA, is proud to be able to give wide distribution to this great address, The Faith of Free Men, delivered before a distinguished audience on the evening of October 19, 1965 by J. Edgar Hoover, 33rd degree, director of the Federal Bureau of Investigation, when he received the highest honor which the Supreme Council can bestow, the Grand Cross of the Court of Honor. So you see right there, they're giving him the highest goddamn degree, the highest honor that could be given to a Mason. This J. Edgar Hoover, the man that's taking out every black leader that from goddamn 1920 up to damn near 1970, his name was he was also responsible for it'll come to me. Damn, what's that brother name? I'm supposed to know his name, man. It'll come to me. It'll come to me. It says, so we, and I ain't going to read the significance of the occasion, the outstanding character of the audience, and the unexcelled qualification of the renowned public official who was the speaker of the evening, demanding a speech of exceptional quality and national importance. Our beloved and illustrious brother, J. Edgar Hoover, 33rd degree, Grand Cross, compiled with a masterpiece of eloquence delivered in strong and clear-cut language, stating the cold hard facts concerning the subversive activities of the communist conspiracy and its relation to the growing crime wave currently affecting our country. So that was his thing, was to throw that communist charge on your ass. If you was affiliated with any outside, that's where he was going. And so motherfuckers was scared that he was going to throw a goddamn communist charge on him. You see, he spoke courageously and with impressive conviction about the dangerous trends of our nation, trends of our times, and warned American citizens concerning those duties and responsibilities which are necessarily associated with their rights. The crux of the problem with which we are confronted, Brother Hoover put this way: we must choose between law and anarchy, freedom and chaos. Reading this powerful statement of the pressing problems which should concern every responsible citizen of the USA is a must. This Supreme Council is doing its best to make this possible. You hear that? This Supreme Council is doing its best to make this possible. We hope that the reader of these lines will join us in that effort. Okay? In that effort. And that's it. Sincerely and fraternally, Luther A. Smith, Solvent Grand Commander. Okay, and I see they got the Baptist sign up there too. Okay, and so yeah, so when we look, at the badges that they got, they make it clear. Philadelphia Police. You see the compass in the square and the G. Freemason, Family Brotherhood God, Michigan State Police. You see the compass in the square. So you see right there that the police are Freemasons, period. That's who you dealing with, okay? And you can see Pennsylvania State Police, Masonic degree team. State Police, New Hampshire, Department of Safety. You see right there. So even from whether it's FBI, whether it's police, whether it's military, all of that is structured around Freemasonry. Okay. And so when you see here the Fraternal Order of Police, you see the Lodge 111, 112. You see Deputy Sheriff's Association, Prince George's County, MD. You see Fraternal Order. And even when you look in there, the all-seeing eye, the handshake of the Freemason is in the logo. Okay, it's in the logo. So that's clear. Okay, Freemasonry and the judicial setup on Black America. Who you think locking your motherfucking ass up on that level? Who you think niggas doing they dumb shit, but there's a lot of motherfuckers in there doing heavy time for some of the same crimes and getting damn near 3 times the amount of time than the Cro-Magnon Neanderthal. They're just the facts. They deal with that. That's a statistic. Who locking your ass up? Who making that money? Freemasonry. Yeah, they making that money. The warden, who's a Freemason. Yeah. You see, the judge got the gavel. The worshipful master in the lodge got the gavel. Both of them got the gavel. And you can't see that it's the same structure. So you see the judge here, and then you come into the lodge. And you see the lodge, you see the chair for the worshipful master, and you see that's exactly where the judge sits. You see the checkerboard floor, and a lot of people don't understand when they see the police. And you see the police got the checkerboard band around their hat. See, people didn't see somebody got to show you that. You got to have the general show you that. See the checkerboard stripe around the hat? Yeah. And so you come into the courtroom, and many times they got the checkerboard right there in the courtroom. Look at it. Judge stand, got the 2 tables, and got the checkerboard floor there. Masonic. See? Masonic. So just as you see the checkerboard floor for the lodge, Mason Lodge, the courtroom. See, when you look at the band on the police hat, you see the checkerboard. Yeah, you see the checkerboard. And this is the Blue Lodge. This is the Blue Lodge checkerboard floor. Now, a lot of people say that, that the white and black checkerboard is in reference to the black pope and the white pope, the head of the Jesuit and the white pope who in the St. Peter's Basilica. And so, you got, and so they represent the yin and the yang. And so that's symbolic the black and white checkerboard floor. But now when you go into the Blue Lodge and then you come out and you see a lot of police has got that checkerboard, blue and black all the way around. They have a stripe all the way around their car. See, that's symbolic that they are a Masonic order. Okay? That's what it means, that they are a Masonic order. Okay? And so we have to come to grips with that. We got to know who we up against. Okay, again, showing you so you can see. You see the Masonic and you see the 5-point star down there too. And that's symbolic. Matter of fact, you see him with the 5-point star badge on his chest. Yeah, on his chest. So we and even the salute, that's Freemason. I got a lot of Freemasons that's, wait a minute, matter of fact, right there. You see Q right there. See Q? But I got a lot of Masons that salute because it's Freemason. So I don't want people to misunderstand me. The fact that the police salute is the fact that the structure for police, military, FBI, CIA is Freemasonry. Okay? Bottom line, which is heavily influenced by the Jesuits. See, and some person put up there saying police officers as Freemasons is very dangerous. You see, because that institution can control the dynamics of society from a subversive standpoint. Yeah, they could control the society with a secret agenda that don't have anything to do with public officials. You see what I'm saying? Or the community as a whole. You see, so if they got a subversive blueprint that they want to operate that you don't know about, then that's very dangerous. You understand? And it's very, that is very dangerous. And the fact that they in every segment of military, police, and you see, and politicians and government too, they in it all. You see, and that's their way of maintaining control. They don't just let that go by. You see what I'm saying? Even if you're a Democrat or Republican, they meet in the lodge as brothers. You see? And and you see right there, see how they point out? That's a Masonic, when they show the police pointing, that's a Masonic hand gesture. You see, that's a Masonic hand gesture. Now, right here, they some people say that is true, that the black and white checkerboard floor represent the Pope and the head of the Jesuits. I believe he's a general. Yeah, I believe he's a general, the superior general of the Jesuits. Okay. And so, and I've been told many, many times that the Jesuits, matter of fact, where is that at? Madame Blavatsky said it. No, I thought I had put it in there. It might. It might already be over here. Let me see. Where is that at? Okay, let me go back over here and see what Madame Blavatsky said about that. I don't know why I ain't got it at the top. And the crazy thing about it, crazy things about it, let me drop something in. Because you see the J and you see him, and just to black it up, you see right here, you see right there, that was Pope Benedict. Before he was Pope, he was a Jesuit. He wasn't even a superior general, but he was a Jesuit. And the Jesuits are a military or religious order. You see, they are so they're gonna get dirty. You understand what I'm saying? They the type of order, religious order. They're gonna get dirty if they got to. They're gonna, they into whacking and all that if they have to. And so you see him right there with the hidden hand. You see, with the hidden hand. And so the hidden hand lets the other initiates know that the individual depicted is part of this secret brotherhood, and that his actions were inspired by the Masonic philosophy and beliefs. Furthermore, the hand that executes the actions is behind cloth, which can symbolically refer to covert nature of the Mason's actions. So you see right there, you see right there that the Pope, who and superior general of the Jesuits are at the top of Freemasonry. You see, and you can see the Pope. You can see the Pope, in a Masonic pose where they put the OK sign and the 3 6s. You see the 3 6s there. You see, and you see your brother Lil Wayne, and he's in the demonic hand Freemason hand sign, and you see this is what's his name, Spacey, Kevin Spacey. You see Henry Ford. You see they all in there. And so here go Madame Blavatsky. Here you go. So we could drop it in there. Where she say, it is curious to note too that most of the bodies which work these, such as the ancient, and the sceptic Scottish Rite, we just read that with J. Edgar Hoover. It is curious to note, this is from Madame Blavatsky, that most of the bodies which work these, such as the ancient and the sceptic Scottish Rite, the Rite of Avignon, the Order of the Temple, Fessler's Rite, the Grand Council of the Emperors of the East and West, Solving Prince Masons, etc., are nearly all the offspring of the sons of Ignatius Loyola, the Baron Chevalier Ramsey, Tuscaldi, Zindendorf, and numerous others who founded the grades in these rites, worked under instructions from the general of the Jesuits. You see what I'm saying? So that just show you how deep it get. You see, that just show you how deep it get. That, that all the Freemasons rites and that were founded by Jesuits. Even though they swear up and down that they don't that the Catholic Church don't endorse Freemasonry. But at the same time, even you see it even with the Skull and Bones. And you see that within the Catholic Church that they worship skull and bones. They got skulls of their saints, bones of their saints as shrines all over the world. Okay? Yes, they do that. And so that's where the Skull and Bones come from, because the founder of Skull and Bones, Alfonso Tate, who was the father of President William Tate, was a Freemason. So that just show you that the fraternities are founded by Freemasons. The symbols that they install in the free fraternities and sororities are Freemason symbols. So they ain't nothing but junior varsity. Okay, they ain't nothing but junior varsity. A part of the same institution. No different than the police, no different than the military, no different than the CIA, no different than any of those groups. So when you look at the star and you see right there, you see the G of Freemasonry inside the 5-point star. Then you come over here and you see officer. You see that's a Masonic symbol. The badge of the sheriff, the badge, and you can go all the way back to slavery, where you got the badge for the plantation police. Runaway Slave Patrol. That's the original badge. One of the 1858. You see the 5-point star right there, showing you that even back they was Freemasons, running through the swamps, chasing your ass with the dogs. You see right here, you see police, and you see the Freemason symbol, the badge right there, Westminster. Okay, Westminster Lodge, and you look in here. And you see the all-seeing eye. You can see that same eye in the Catholic Church. You see the Masonic handshake. That's the Fraternal Order Police, Freemasons. And showing you again. And then you see this, I forget the name of it, but you see again the fact that they refer to where they meet up as the lodge. You see right there. You see Donald Trump, Fraternal Order of Police, and he just like fucking J. Edgar Hoover. Trump loved doing Freemason symbols and shit. I mean, he got tons of pictures where he into Freemasonry, even though they don't give a fuck about that. I will see. You understand? Because obviously that might be one of the reasons why they ain't put the hammer down on his ass all the way right now, but they didn't indicted him again. So I don't know. Sometimes that shit don't mean, it ain't going to keep you out of there. You see, it ain't going to keep you out of there. And so let me get up here right here to bring this up. So you can see that, this founded on Luciferianism. Now you got Manly P. Hall, 33 degrees. Now, Manly P. Hall, outside of Albert Pike, they consider Manly P. Hall the greatest philosopher of Freemasonry, period. They consider him the greatest. So when I quote motherfucker, I don't quote nobody down I quote all the way at the top. So when you quote Albert Pike and you quote Manly P. Hall, you done quoted two of the top Freemasons in the history of Freemasonry. And this is what he says, Manly P. Hall. When the Mason learns that the key is the proper application of the dynamo of living power, he has learned the mystery of his craft. The seething energies of Lucifer are in his hands. Did you hear that? So we just went over Albert, and now let's listen what Albert Pike said. Now he the one that wrote the rules of the Southern. He wrote them. I went and looked. I seen they had a Masonic book, and it had 200 questions. And one of the questions, who was the greatest Freemason? You know what the response in that book was? Albert Pike. Albert Pike. Now this is what he says. That which we must say to the crowd is we worship a God, but it is the God that one adores without superstition. To you, sovereign grand inspectors general, we say this that you may repeat it to the brethren of the 32nd, the 31st, and the 30th degrees, the highest degrees. We ain't talking about the nigga scraping the bottom. We talking about at the top. The Masonic religion should be by all of us initiates, listen, of the high degrees, maintain in the purity of the Luciferian doctrine. If Lucifer was not God, would Adonai, Jesus, calumniate, spread false and harmful states about him? Yes, Lucifer is God. This is at the top. So you seeing how they operate. Okay, they got a Luciferian doctrine. And Madame Blavatsky, she had a magazine called Lucifer, Theosophical Magazine. Okay, now this was Eliphas Levi. Now Eliphas Levi is the man, obviously a Freemason, who created the symbol of the Baphomet that you know today. He created that, even though, the one that we know of. You see what I'm saying, with the horn, crooked horn, sitting there with his legs. I think was they folded or whatever, but he was the one that created the image of the Baphomet today. Now listen to what he say. What is more absurd and more impious than to attribute the name of Lucifer to the devil, that is, to personify evil. The intellectual Lucifer is the spirit of intelligence and love. It is the parasolite, the parasolite. It is the Holy Spirit, while the physical Lucifer is the great agent of universal magnetism. So to see, what they try to do is separate Lucifer from Satan. See, and that's how they fool you, you niggas. You see, Lucifer is only Satan, is no Lucifer. So you can't believe in the Bible. They just show you, and I don't believe in it, but obviously they're not pro-Bible because Lucifer fell. He became Satan. So why are they still talking as if he hasn't fallen? You see, Lucifer fell and became Satan. And so they saying that the Bible is lying on Lucifer. They saying Jesus is lying on Lucifer. You see, both of them the devil, but that just lets you know what they on. Then you got Annie Besant. Annie Besant was the one that took over the Theosophic Society after Madame Blavatsky. And it looked like she was in some co-masonry. You see, but co-masonry is clandestine. Real Masons don't accept women into the lodge. You see, so if you see, usually if you see women, because they got their own branch, they got the Eastern Star. So if you see a woman in a lodge, it's considered co-masonry. And most lodges do not accept them as members, so they can't go into she could never walk into a chartered lodge. You see what I'm saying? And so, yeah, she was, and so they just show you, but it still show you what type of minds are connected to Freemasonry. And that the bottom line, that they are a Luciferian organization. And so this was the institution, again, that took out Marcus Garvey, ran W.E. Du Bois to Ghana. He went to Ghana because they started throwing charges on him because he was actually a communist. Shit, he believed in communism, Marxism, and so this ain't the place to be under J. Edgar Hoover. You see what I'm saying? If W.E.B. Du Bois don't get his ass up out of here, that his ass was, and they deported Marcus Garvey. That was J. Edgar Hoover. Yeah, get on up out of here. You see, we ain't having none of that. Okay? They talking about even Malcolm X. They knew what was going on. They know exactly what happened. They had the whole goddamn Audubon ballroom wiretap. They know what the hell happened. They had FBI agents in there. You see, had police agents in there. So they was all in there when Malcolm X was killed. They, you know, more than likely they had Huey P. Newton killed, even though it was after many years after he, you know, he stopped being, you know, political as he was. You know, he ended up dead, and many others in the Black Panther Party that was killed under the leadership of J. Edgar Hoover, Dr. Martin Luther King. They, you know, J. Edgar Hoover was investigating him. You see, and so many others. So this crazy cracker, you see, is responsible for damn near single-handedly bringing down every Black organization that ever existed in the damn Black community. You see, and so when we say Freemasonry, you know, you say police, but you got to say Freemasonry, because Freemasonry is the driving mentality of white men. Okay, that's their order. Just like most races got a brotherhood. We had our brotherhood. And so that's they white brotherhood that regardless of whatever, how they intend to maintain power. So when you come in the lodge, regardless whether you Democrat or Republican, whether you're Christian or this, that, and the third, you come in as a white man. In the fraternal order of Freemasonry is how to maintain white supremacy. It is more the driving force than the politics or any of that, because a lot of them motherfuckers out there that's politicians are Freemasons. See, so they never put anything over their Freemasonry. If they're Freemasonry, that's the top of their goddamn list. Okay? If they a politician or police and this, that, and the second, they're going to be a Freemason first. So that's their driving philosophy and mentality. So right there is showing you that Freemasonry is the enemy. Any type of fight for liberation, you going to have to fight Freemasonry. But they ain't going to let you know it's them. You're going to have to fight them in their disguises, such as the politicians at the those are the disguises of the Freemasons. You see what I'm saying? So ultimately, you can, you know, you got to zoom in on the real target. You have to zoom in on the real target, family, and realize that it is the white brotherhood of Freemasonry, which is one of the most lethal institutions in the uprise of Black people. We're gonna have a second. We're gonna do. We just getting started. We having the Black Illuminati exposing the gatekeepers and oath takers in the Black community. Sunday, August 16th. Be on deck, family. Be on deck. If you're in the intermediate scribe and up, you already know you in the house. If you lower than that, you don't want to come up. And this is a good reason to come up. Because why stay? But you can stay where you at if that's what you choose. If you got it and you like your tier, that's beautiful because you still eating. You understand what I'm saying? And then you can pay separately if that's what you choose. Okay, you can pay separately if that's what you choose, or you could just come up $10. The damn lecture costs $15. You see what I'm saying? And do it that way. All right, family. This is General Cyrus Sunseti thanking you for your support on Patreon. This is General Cyrus Sunseti saying, "Hey, arm yourself with knowledge. Bang on that wicked ass beast daily. Liberation through African education and confrontation. Black power."